Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Now from time to time, because I've got a lot of experience in this field, people will ask me to recommend all the equipment they need to put together a complete home recording setup on a super cheap budget. And in fact, I just got asked about this again last week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two videos showing you two complete home recording systems on a super cheap budget. And each of these systems is going to be built around a Mac computer. Okay, so this is around the 3rd of March 2020 now. Here's your first super budget complete home recording system. And this includes the Mac computer, the DAW music software and all of the accessories. And the total cost for everything, brand new and boxed, is going to be 662 British pounds, including VAT sales tax. Okay, and this system will have enough sound quality and power to turn out up to release quality tunes in different types of genres. All right. Okay, so here's your first super budget system. Now this is going to be a little bit controversial because I'm going to say that the Mac computer we're going to build this system around is a basic 32GB standard model iPad, costing 349 British pounds. You can work out the price in dollars and euros, right? Now, obviously at this point, there's going to be people watching this video who are going to be saying, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an Apple fanboy. An iPad isn't a real computer. You can't build a home recording system around an iPad. You've got to use a proper computer. Now, and all this kind of business, right? But here's the thing, you're wrong, okay? If you understand about computers, an iPad is a portable computing device. And all portable computing devices, no matter who makes them, they all run on ARM CPUs, running RISC, reduced instruction set code. And the combination of an ARM CPU running RISC code is incredibly efficient. So these basic 32GB iPads are running an Apple-designed A10 Fusion chip, which is a quad-core chip. And the combination of that Apple quad-core chip running RISC code is actually incredibly powerful. And look at the price we're paying, $349. Now that's the same price as you're going to pay for a cheap Windows laptop from a typical high street retail chain or from eBay. But a cheap laptop for that price is going to get you something like a typical lowish powered mobile processor. This iPad is going to be quite powerful by comparison, okay? This is going to give us everything we need to turn out quite big productions, as I said, up to release quality music. Don't worry, it's got enough power. And we'll talk more about the computer later, but that's the computer we're going to build the system around. Now the DAW we're going to use, no surprises, is going to be GaugeBand for iPad. For three reasons. One, duh, it's completely free. Two, it's a traditional linear DAW, the same as Cubase or Logic or Pro Tools or Sonar or any of the classic DAWs, which means that the tracks are laid out running across the screen from left to right. You can see the MIDI parts and the audio parts on the tracks. You can chop the parts, move them around. It's all very clear. It's all very obvious. It's easy to learn, easy to understand, right? And then the third reason we're going for GarageBand is, even though it's free, it comes with an enormous collection of instruments and sounds. And they're all the same sounds and instruments as in Logic Pro X. So we get all the sounds, all the instruments that we need to immediately begin to make high quality music in any genre. All right? All right, so that's the computer and the DAW. And we'll talk more about those when we've looked at the rest of the equipment. So the rest of the equipment we need, and for that I'm using Tomman. Not just because they sponsor us, but because Tomman are a really good indicator for a low street price. Now Tomman retail all over Europe, that's mail order and beyond, so you can buy all this equipment yourself if you want to set this system up. And let's look at what we got on the list. And by the way, everything in this list is covered with a full 3-year warranty. Right? Okay, so the first thing we need is an audio interface, and for that we're going to use the PreSonus AudioBox i1. Now this is a traditional USB interface. It will work with any desktop, Mac or Windows machine, but it's also specifically designed to work with iPads. If we look around at the back, there's a traditional USB socket here labelled device. Now what you do is you take your lightning charger cable that comes with the iPad, you plug the USB socket end, this that would normally go into your charger brick, you plug that into this device socket, and then the lightning end of the cable plugs into your iPad. That provides the data flow in either direction. Then the traditional USB socket here, you get a traditional USB lead with this, and you plug this end into your iPad charging brick. So the iPad charger provides power to the interface. This connects your lightning cable to the iPad for the data, and it also trickles through some current as well to stop the iPad running down its battery so quickly. And then the left right here connect to your speakers. Okay, round at the front we've got a Class A mic preamp with a 48 volt switchable phantom power. We've got a dedicated volume control for speakers and headphones, which is really important if you're doing a lot of mic recording. And then we also have a second instrument level input here, and this will allow us to plug our electric guitars and basses direct into the amp modelling rig tracks in GarageBand. Because GarageBand on iPad comes with full-on amp modelling rigs for guitars and basses exactly the same as Logic. All right. Okay, there's your audio interface. Okay, next we're going to need a mic, and for that we're going to go with this. This is the mic I always recommend on budget systems. This is a Tom Mann own brand mic. I think it's actually their biggest seller. This is a great mic. A friend of mine owns one. I've experienced it quite a bit. Tom Mann sell thousands of these every year. This is the SC450. At this price point, any mic you buy is going to be made in China. This is a Chinese made 1-inch gold plated large diaphragm condenser mic. It comes with a really nice carrying case with a shock mount. It's a great little mic. This will get you a great vocal sound, acoustic guitar recording, all the rest of it, right? Great mic. There's your mic. Okay, then we need the mic accessories. So on the list we've also got a good quality height adjustable boom stand, a good quality 3-meter long mic lead. You can get cheaper leads than this, but I've gone with this one because it has high quality Neutrik connectors on each end. Then we've also got a pop shield. And finally, you don't need this, but I've included for just £11 this mic screen. Now this is the cheapest mic screen you can get, and it's just basically a piece of shaped foam with a slot cut in it and a hole in the middle. And this hole is the same diameter as a mic boom. So what you do is you just put the mic screen over your boom of your mic stand, slide it up behind the mic and position it, and that will reduce off-axis reflections getting onto the mic, bouncing back from behind the mic. This will just give us a bit of a better recording sound on the mic, yeah? So it's only £11, so I've included that. Alright, that's the mic and all the accessories. And then we need headphones, and these are the ones I always recommend on a budget, the AKG K52s. Now I actually use these every day for professional work. These are the headphones I use. They're comfortable to wear, they've got a great sound. I use them for everything, tracking vocals, guitars, and I also use them for mixing and mastering. I use them for checking the detail in the mix when I'm doing that kind of work. These are great little headphones. There's your headphones. And that just leaves the speakers. Now, you can get little 3.5 or 4-inch monitor speakers, and if you spend quite a bit of money on them, they can go down quite low in the bass, and they can be very balanced and good little speakers. But you need to spend quite a bit to get a speaker that size that sounds good, because they need to be very well designed and made. On a budget, to get a decent bottom end, so you can hear the bass, it's always best to go for a minimum 5-inch monitor. And these are the ones that I always recommend on a budget. The Alesis Elevate 5 Mark IIs. Now, a friend of mine owns these. I've had quite a lot of listening experience on them, and they're great little speakers. Okay, you've got a 5-inch bass driver. They're nice and flat. They don't hype any frequency band. They're not harsh. You can hear the bass end nicely. They go down low enough. They're loud enough. They go plenty loud. And they're just a really good, decent pair of cheap monitors. And partly how at least this saved costs is, instead of having a power amp in each speaker, they put a stereo amp in one of the speakers, and then you connect the left speaker using an included cable. And that helps to keep the cost down, right? So these are powered near-field monitors. They're fully shielded and everything. They're great little speakers. And as a bonus, you get a volume control on them as well as a headphone socket. Now that means if you're working on your record system with another musician and you're doing the engineering and the musician is doing the recording, the playing, singing, whatever, both of you have a headphone socket. You can use the headphone socket on the audio interface and the musician can use the headphone socket on the speakers. And there's a little bonus there, right? Okay, and there's the speakers, and the only other thing on the list is 2 of these 1/4-inch jack-to-jack leads, and these are to connect the left-right out of the audio interface to the monitors. And there's your complete list of equipment. Okay, everything you need to go with the iPad. And the price in pounds here changes day to day with the exchange rate, but at today's date, the total price for all this equipment, brand new, warranted for 3 years and boxed, is £313. Add that to the iPad and you have a total cost of £662 for everything, brand new boxed, everything warranted. Yeah? And there you go, there's your system. Now let's go and talk a little bit more about the iPad and GarageBand, just to answer any questions people might have. First, the iPad. I'm saying go with the basic 32 gig model, right, at $349. Now that means it's got 32 gig of onboard memory storage. Now, yeah, if you want to, you can spend £100 more and get the 128 gig version, but you don't really need to, and here's why. If you've never owned an Apple computer, the way it works is this. When you set up the iPad, you have to create an Apple account. That's partly for security and partly so you can log in and access the App Store to download and install all your apps, right? Now, once you set up that Apple account, you automatically get 5 gig of iCloud storage. Now, 5 gig of iCloud storage is enough to save a couple of hundred songs. And the way the iPad works out of the box by default is any song or idea that you put together in GarageBand, when you save it, it doesn't save it to the internal memory of the iPad, it saves it to the cloud. So you don't use your iPad memory. Now you can change that in the settings, so you can make it by default save to the iPad memory, but as I said, by default it uploads and saves all your created songs and ideas to the cloud, where they can never be lost, right? And this all happens automatically via Wi-Fi in the background without you having to even think about it. So the best thing is to stick with it in the default mode and let everything that you write, all the songs that you create, let them all be saved and uploaded to the cloud, and then you keep the iPad memory empty, right? And as I said, 5 gig, the free 5 gig that you get, it's enough to save a couple of hundred songs, but you can upgrade it, and that's my advice. Upgrade it to the next level up, which is 50 gig of cloud storage, and that is enough to save like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of finished songs, even if they've got a lot of audio tracks. And to upgrade your cloud storage to 50 gig costs 79 pence a month. It's less than £10 a year, it's like £9.50 a year. So upgrade your storage to 50 gig and then you can just write songs and forget about it. They get backed up and saved to the cloud. You can never lose them and you don't use your iPad memory. All right. And by the way, you can upgrade your cloud storage to a maximum of 2 terabytes if you really want to get more storage. Right. Okay, that's some questions about the iPad that you might have. Now let's just quickly talk about GarageBand. Now, it's free. It's a classic linear DAW. And it comes with a massive selection of instruments and sounds. I mean, really, right? And those sounds and those instruments are all taken from Logic Pro X. They're the same as in Logic Pro X. So this free DAW with this amazing collection of instruments and sounds, it has to have a restriction. Now the restriction is you can only have a maximum of 32 live tracks at any time. And that's 32 tracks, whether audio or instrument tracks, and every one of those 32 tracks has a compressor and an EQ on it, as well as up to 6 other plug-in effects. And they can be third-party effects as well, right? But it's not really a restriction, because think about this. Every classic album in history, in every genre, was recorded on 24 tracks or less. So the truth is, honestly, if you can't turn out a song that people want to listen to with 32 tracks, maybe this isn't what you should be going into. 32 tracks is plenty. But if for some reason you really must have more than 32 tracks, then GarageBand on iPad has a feature called Merge. You simply tick the tracks that you want to merge, hit the Merge button, and those ticked tracks are merged down to a stereo submix, and then you can carry on adding more tracks. And at the point you do that merge, GarageBand automatically saves a backup of the song before you did the merge, so you've always got the original version to go back to if it doesn't work. All right? Now, in terms of the content of GarageBand, as I said, all the sounds are taken from Logic Pro X and all the instruments are taken from Logic Pro X, and you get a huge, and I mean huge, amount of instruments and sounds. So very quickly, just to tell you, you get the full-on drummer tracks and drummer percussionist tracks, the same as in Logic. You get the amp and bass modelling rig tracks, the same as in Logic. On top of that, you get a full-on polysynth that does bass, leads, pads, ARP type sounds. You get Alchemy, one of the most respected software synths in the world, that does great, lush atmospheres, pads, leads and other sounds. You get all your classic mechanical electric type keyboards. That's the Hammond, the Whirly, the Rhodes and the Clavinet, and they're very high quality, and they've got all the controls like the drawbars and everything like that. On top of that, you've got very high quality sampled electric and acoustic guitars and electric and acoustic basses to add to your compositions if you don't play guitar or bass. You get incredible high quality sampled pianos and a full high quality sampled string section, and they're really good. On top of that, you get all your orchestral and brass sounds if you need those. And further to that, there's a basic sampler instrument built in, which allows you to sample in from the mic or import files into it. You can trim the start, trim the end, set an envelope, pitch the sample, reverse it, loop it, and it can be played across the keys, and you can use that for all your re-triggering sample type techniques. Additionally, you get all the download packs, which are all free. There's quite a large selection of world instruments as well as world percussion. And then for your non-acoustic drummer kit type sounds, you get a massive selection, and I mean huge. A huge amount of classic drum machines, as well as contemporary drum sounds for hip-hop, rap and dance music type productions. A massive collection of drum sounds, yeah. And then on top of that, you've got thousands of Apple loops. So you just get this huge collection of instruments and sounds. As I said, they're all the same quality as Logic because they're taken from Logic. Everything you need to get making music from the get-go. But if you want to go further or get more into synth type stuff, whatever, you've got access to all the world of third-party audio unit iOS plugins from all the different manufacturers, Korg, Propellerheads, Waldorf, etc., as well as small software authors and small software houses. So you've got access to a world of third-party instruments and plug-in effects as well. All right. So that's a little bit more about the iPad and GarageBand. Now, I think I'm going to mention this now. GarageBand comes with, you know, every instrument you load has a keyboard on the screen. You can adjust the size of the keys, you can set the scale of the keyboard to any scale, and it's velocity sensitive. So you can play any instrument from the on-screen keys. There's drum pads you can hit as well. Everything's velocity sensitive. But if you want to, and this will cost you about £65 more, you can buy two accessories, the Apple Lightning to USB adapter and a powered USB hub. If you go with a 4-port powered USB hub, both those accessories will cost you about £65, right? Now, if you get those two accessories and connect those to the iPad, then you can connect any USB accessories that you want, including a master keyboard. So you can add a master keyboard to this setup if you want. You just have to buy those two connector accessories and then actually buy the USB master keyboard. But you have got the option to use a physical master keyboard to play all the instruments if you want. And if you do set up that accessory with the powered USB hub and the adapter, you can also connect USB hard drives and thumb drives. And then you've got the option to save and load all your songs from an actual USB hard drive or thumb drive, save your files there, etc., etc. Okay, so there is that option if you want to go down that route. But you don't need it because, as I said, all the instruments in GaugeBand come with a keyboard, drum pads or other type interface to allow you to play the instrument, and it's velocity sensitive. Okay, and then just a few things to finish. This is a complete home desktop system, but it's also a completely portable system. Now that's a bonus, right? If you build a home recording system around a desktop computer, if you need to record some other musician, like a guitarist, a bassist, a singer, or a flute player or whatever, right? Usually they have to come to your place. But with this system, you just put the iPad, the headphones, the mic, and all the cable and everything, in other words, everything other than the speakers, into a little rucksack, fold up the mic stand, carry the whole lot to the musician's house, record them there at their location, bring everything home, connect it back to your speakers and carry on working. So it's a portable recording system as well. And then on top of that, if you just take the iPad out with you, if you're on a journey somewhere or you're staying away from home for a couple of days, just take the iPad and the headphones and you've got a portable writing setup. It's got a built-in mic, which is actually very good quality to get ideas down. So you can take the iPad with just the headphones anywhere, on a bus, on a coach, whatever, on the train, and you can write ideas, get beats together, anything like that. Okay, so it's a portable writing device as well. Okay, I've got a few other things. Obviously, once you finish making your songs, the iPad then functions to upload all your music to the internet, whether it's to SoundCloud or social media accounts or those types of websites where you can sell your own music direct to your fan base, whatever. It'll do all that. And also, of course, the iPad will function to allow you to use all your social media to build and maintain your fan base. Okay. Also, you can use the iPad to make a cheap promo video. It's got a 1080 video camera built in. You can download a copy of iMovie from the App Store completely free. So all you do is you get the iPad, you film some short little 4 or 5 second clips of you or the band, miming to the backing track. Then you open iMovie, you put your stereo track into iMovie and you arrange all your little video clips synced up to the music. And you make yourself a cheap promo video. It'll even do that. So it's got a lot of other features that it can do. And then there's something else as well. This system, we're buying into the Mac ecosphere with this, right? But it also provides an upgrade path, a very easy upgrade path, right? If in a year or two that you've been using this system, you think, well, you know what, I'm really getting into this. I'd like to go a bit further with this and get a Mac desktop and run Logic or something. Fine. Because here's the thing. Every bit of equipment in this list, and particularly the audio interface we're talking about here, all this equipment will work with a desktop Mac. So everything you buy here, if you do decide to upgrade to a desktop system in the future, everything here will work. Right? Nothing's wasted. And the other important thing about this upgrade path is that if you do decide to upgrade to a Mac desktop running Logic, or even free GarageBand for desktop, every single song that you wrote on iPad in the GarageBand can be exported as a project and loaded into Logic or GaugeBand on the desktop Mac. So if you do upgrade to a desktop in the future, every song that you wrote, every idea that you wrote can be ported out to your desktop Mac, and you can run it in Logic, remix it, work on it further, whatever you want. And that introduces another important thing. If you're getting this set up to write demo songs to chase a record deal, if a label becomes interested in you, every song that you wrote on the iPad can be ported out to a pro studio running Logic, where you can continue working on the material, upgrading it and refining it, working with a professional producer that the label has appointed to work with you. And that's really important if you're chasing a deal, that you can export your creations, your ideas, to a pro studio where they can be further worked on and tweaked to whatever quality the label wants. So, you know, this is a powerful system, trust me. Now, just a few things to finish. Throughout this, I've said a couple of times that this system will allow you to produce up to release quality tunes. The sounds are definitely good enough because, as I said, they're coming from Logic Pro X. So what do I mean by release quality tunes in different genres? Well, okay, if you're doing any kind of hip-hop, grime or rap music, this system will allow you to produce release quality tunes. No doubt about it. And I'm talking here, not, you know, bloated old music stars like Snoop Dogg or Eminem or whoever. I'm talking street level music, you know.
Hungry, looking at my dinner. Vanity really is a killer. Life is bigger than a mirror. Think it's a joke when you see a man smiling.
Yeah, this system will allow you to turn out release quality tunes in hip hop, rap, grime. It'll also allow you to turn out release quality street level dance music in any dance music genre. House, techno, whatever you want. It will also allow you to turn out music in what I call hybrid genres. That's any genre that uses guitars and vocals as well as loops and electronic sounds. So yeah, any of those crossover type genres, you know, like the Sleaford Mods or something.
Black t-shirts and steak toss, nobbies nuts, the rule of rough cuts, A to Z of nothing gets all the shiz. We are real, we are looking 20p.
Yeah, it'll turn out release quality music in those genres as well. Now that just leaves one other type of genre, which is your classic singer-songwriter type songs, whether they're acoustic, folk type thing or rock. This system will allow you to turn out up to very high quality demos in that type of recording genre. That's where you're using the instruments to create an imitation of a real drummer. Yeah? Playing along and you're using the instruments to create the impression of what it would sound like with a real band playing it. Yeah, this system will turn out very high quality demos, good enough to chase label deals. Absolutely, no problems. Absolutely no problems. Okay, so that should have answered a bunch of your questions. And then finally, yeah, look, some of you watching this might go, yeah, I'd really like to get this system, but I don't live anywhere that Tom Man deliver. Okay. The key products you can get from any retailer in any territory. That's the PreSonus audio box, the headphones and the speakers. You can buy those from any shop. The microphone and all the accessories, well, just get a mic and all the other bits in a bundle from whichever retailer you're going to use. All retailers will do you a mic bundle. That's the mic, the lead, the stand and the pop shield. Okay, and the screen is optional, you know. So just quickly to look at other options, and I'm looking at Tom on here, but these are products you can buy anywhere. If you're going for a different mic, look at the choices. There's plenty. Look, you've got cheap Behringers, Superlux. I mean, that's a Chinese brand. They actually manufacture for other companies with, you know, they stick the company label for other companies on the mics. So they manufacture for other companies, but Superlux can be bought anywhere. Chinese-made mics. These are all Chinese at this price, right? These are Chinese-made mics. They've been making mics for over 20 years, Superlux. So you've got cheap Behringers. What else have we got? Look, further down here. There's a cheap AKG, look. This will do the job fine. AKG P120, 63 quid. Yeah. There's a Mackie. You could use that. These IMG mics, I don't know if only Tom Man sell these, but there's plenty of those. IMG. What else we got? Look, there's another Behringer here. There's a Marantz. There's an MXL. You know, there's a Tannoy. You know, so there's plenty of other choices for a cheap but decent large diaphragm Chinese-made mic and all the accessories. You just get a bundle from whichever retailer you're using. But the key items in this list, the PreSonus Audio Box i1, the AKG K52 headphones and the Alesis Elevate 5 speakers, boom, you can get those anywhere. All right. Now, finally, just one other thing. This list will do the job. Trust me. Total cost, including the iPad, £662. All right. But if you want to spend a bit more, then my recommendation is get the same list of equipment, but go for these more expensive PreSonus Eris E5 speakers. They cost £85 more than the Alesis. And this is just like a more luxurious pair of speakers. And just to show you, like, these are great little speakers. These are my favourite 5-inch monitors out of all of them at the moment. Now, my son owns a pair of these. I've had extensive listening experience on these speakers, particularly to hip-hop and R&B type genre music. And the thing about these speakers is they've got a beautifully tight and well-defined and focused bass end, even at really low listening levels. The top end is really smooth. They're nicely flat. You hear lovely detail. These are great little speakers. Now, they'll cost you £85 more than if you go with the package with the Alesis speakers. So if you go with that whole package with the PreSonus speakers, then the total cost is £393. That makes your whole package, including the iPad, £742 British pounds, including tax. Okay, so you've got that option if you want to go for a slightly more expensive pair of speakers, which you could think of as more luxury type speakers, right? But listen, don't think that these Alesis Elevate 5s won't do the job. These will do the job just fine. They're perfectly good, decent 5-inch budget monitors. Okay. Okay, so there you go. That's everything. A complete home recording system, including the computer, everything boxed, everything new, that will turn out up to release quality tunes in different genres. Very versatile, with a clear upgrade path if you do want to go further in the future. Right? I've answered most of the questions that you might have. Every item in the shopping list is going to be in the description below, so you can just click on those links, put them all into a cart and buy the stuff if you want to put this system together around an iPad. And then finally, just to say, you know, if anyone out there is saying I'm just an Apple fanboy, I've had 30 years of computer music experience, going back to the days of Atari Falcon, and then on into the earliest days of Windows computer music, starting on Windows for Workgroups, and on through from there to the current day. Right, I've got a lot of experience in this field. Okay, I'm not an Apple fanboy, and in fact, I own 4 Windows desktops, 2 Windows laptops, and I've even got a couple of Windows Pro rack servers, the full smash with hot swap power supplies and everything, because I used to run Windows domain servers and network servers. Yeah, I use Apple, but I also use Windows. And my phone of choice is, I'm currently rocking a Motorola G7 Power, which I'm telling you is an epic phone. It really is. You've got like 3 days battery life. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about, and this system will do the business, trust me. Okay, so there you go. There's your first super budget system based around a Mac. All right, £662 for everything. What do you want, right? Okay, any questions, any comments, ask them down below. And I'm now going to move on and make the second video. I'm going to show you another super budget Mac based system, which is going to be slightly different. I'll see you for that one.